Alright, buckle up because this one might be a bit of a long one. Today we're talking about a manhwa that I actually read a few years back. It had about 84 chapters last time I read it, and it has a few names it goes by, like the max level hero strikes back, the max level hero will return, or the max level hero has returned, depending on who's translating it. I think the max level hero strikes back is the most popular name of it, so I saw it again recently, and it was up to 193 chapters, which is a lot more than before. And based off my memory, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the 84 chapters I read a long time ago were like pretty good, to be honest. So I was going to give it the old reach around, like I'm going to go back and rewatch it all and stuff like that. But the first thing I saw in the comments were all negative complaints about the manhwa. So I was a bit skeptical. There were quite a few, but the main complaints I saw were that the main character refuses to use his abilities or something. He just keeps hiding his abilities, doesn't really do much, you know. And I'm like, okay, that's not really how I remember it, but maybe it got worse over the ages, you know. Another one of the complaints was that the show turns into a mech show, and I'm like, oh boy, they might have gone down a bad path. Right? So I actually took a few days more to start reading it because I was just very turned off by these comments. And a lot of people actually were in the comments. There's a bunch of people being like, oh, thank you for the heads up. I'm not going to read this, you know. Thanks for telling me ahead of hand. I won't waste my time on this trash. I'm like, oh boy. Maybe they turned it bad, you know. Long story short, the complaints boil down to, oh, the main character doesn't use his powers. Oh, there's mechs in the show. Oh, the main character has knowledge from his reincarnation and he uses that knowledge. Like what? But I eventually did get around to reading it. And let me give you a bit of a spoiler. Every single one of those complaints, wrong, incorrect, literally didn't happen. Not a single one was right. I couldn't believe it. These fellas were just straight lying. So I was just reading it chapter after chapter, waiting for these moments where the main character just hides his abilities when he doesn't need to, or like they become mechs and start like piloting these mechs and start fighting or something. Never happened. It never happened. Not at all. I don't know what the complainers were talking about though, and honestly that's one of the reasons I don't really like to like tell people I watch manhwa or read anime, because a lot of the people are kind of weird, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know what those kind of people want from a manhwa. Like, do you want the main character to be brainlessly just trying to brute force every situation with his powers? Like, come on, come on. The main character in the show is very smart. He uses his powers like when he needs to, and he always tries to find the ways through like his battles or what he's going through to like most profit himself. And a lot of the times that isn't just like brute forcing with his like powers and like not having any care for the people around him. So he'll like get certain people involved or like get the most out of every situation, and it's pretty cool. I do like it. I do like how smart the main character is in this show. Now the mech claim is a bit debatable because there's like these things called golems in the show, or guardians, and usually they make these golems using magic, but the main character has knowledge from his previous world, so he's able to like make higher technology stuff. So he makes these golems out of like metal and makes them into almost like robots that pretty much just go and fight and do his bidding. So that's pretty cool. So you could technically call those mechs depending on who you ask, but I think mostly when people think about mechs, the traditional version of a mech is like a pilotable thing, and that never happens in the show, so I don't think it's that big of a problem at all. And if you don't want robots at all in your manhwa, this one should still be fine because there's so little focus on them. It makes them pretty forgettable, to be honest. So I don't really think those complaints are valid, and that does suck because it actually turned off a lot of people from watching the manhwa. As I saw in the comments, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this then, it's trash. It's not trash, it's actually really good. But yeah, that's usually why I don't take any reviews from like manhwa or anime watchers like seriously at all, because they're kind of brainless half the time, I won't lie. Now for the first half of the show, it definitely is like more of a diplomatic kind of show. They do like stuff dealing with kingdoms and like world building instead of just like the main character going around and fighting and stuff like that, showing off his powers. He more or less builds up his crew, goes around getting items that he needs and stuff like that, or like dealing with drama with other people. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fighting. But this manhwa isn't perfect, even though I did really like it. Like, every arc was unbelievably good, and I couldn't believe how it just got better and better over time. The start wasn't even that bad either. It was mostly just like world building, meeting the characters, powering up the characters, powering up the main character, stuff like that, with a couple big really important fights sprinkled here and there. So yeah, the arcs were really good. They never overstayed their welcome. They were very interesting. I loved the villains and the characters. Like, every time a new character or group gets introduced, it's always super exciting because they're made so well. And the art is pretty unique. It doesn't do anything too crazy like solo leveling, pick me up, infinite gacha, omnipotent reader's viewpoint. Like in those manhwas, in the pinnacle of the fight scene, there would be like one like picture that is just absolute cinema. And this one doesn't really do that. It doesn't go from like 1 to 100 in art. It goes to like 1 to 50 in the big fight scene, so it doesn't really change too much, and I think that's fine. It kind of keeps like more of a calm, steady art style the entire way through. But the one thing this artist is absolutely amazing at doing is faces and people, especially either cute or silly characters. So if there's any cute characters, they're like unbelievably adorable. Any funny characters or like silly characters look really good as well. And this might be a little bit of a spoiler. There are definitely cute characters in this show. Like they follow the trope where it's like, if something can have a human form, that human form is going to be a little girl. I'll be honest. And I know a lot of people hate that trope, but if it's done well, I honestly don't care. I don't think it's a problem at all. So while the art style doesn't go like crazy sicko mode in all these scenes, it's a very friendly art style. Now if I had to list my slight complaints, it would be like the translating or the way things are written. I got lost in the sauce a few times about what they were talking about and why they were talking about it. I got confused a few times, but that could just be like the translator's issue. So maybe I should just learn Korean and read like from the direct source. And another complaint, again, not really a complaint, is just like with the art again, it's good, it's safe, and it's friendly. I like it. It's a very unique style, but it doesn't go over the top. It doesn't like do 110% in any of these moments. So for that reason, I can't rate it like a 10 out of 10. This one would probably be a 9 out of 10 because of these couple of complaints I have. But if you are interested in reading this, absolutely read it. It's actually great, especially like the arcs after season 1 ends, which is about like chapter 70 something. It starts getting amazing. It starts going crazy after like all the world building and all the groundwork has been like placed out and stuff like that. It goes wild. Every arc is better than the next. The arc that it ended on right now at around chapter 190, I'm so unbelievably excited for. Like it looks like it's going to be my favorite arc yet. So, and I will absolutely glaze this manhwa. I think it's great. I think it's really good. A 9 out of 10 from me. But I think that's everything I need to cover, so I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.